separated by 130 miles and count them up, 6 Super Bowls, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. It's a rivalry, but historically, there's only been one winner here. Also with me today is a winner of his own kind, Brad Allen, the Professor. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well, thank you, Sully. And yourself?
Really good, man. It's Thursday. I'm talking to you about NFL, one game only. I don't know if this is one of those key ones that we will stay up for and get no sleep for, and hence on Friday morning be really tired heading into the office. Prof, I don't think it's one of those, is it?
I think it's a sneaky good game. I think we've got two teams on the up. We've got AFC playoff roster berth in the mix here. If one of these teams gets on a run, I think it's quite good. I think it'll be an old-fashioned slobber knocker.
Oh, I love that phrase, slobber knocker, brilliant. Let's take a current look at the betting at Matchbook. 1.71 Browns at home, of course. The Steelers here at 2.38, currently industry best price in the Steelers here. At Matchbook, the main handicap is 3. The Browns -3 at 2.09. 2.5 is your alternative here, and that's a 1.9 for the Browns. Total is 41.5, slightly favouring the over. And I'll start there, Brad. I'm kind of surprised by this. This total opened at 41.5. I thought it might start drift down, but it's not. What are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, probably a slight preference for the under. Looks like we're going to have 10 to 12 mile-an-hour winds. We've spoken a fair bit about the Steelers are kind of a dead nut under team with that pass rush they've got. And then on the other side of the ball, just a quarterback who refuses to throw it downfield and possibly can't do that. And then the Browns look a bit that way as well. They still move quite slowly. The offense just has not yet clicked to where it should be, given the talent they have available, especially with Kareem Hunt back now. So I would lean to the under, but it's just not enough of a gap between my numbers to make it a bet for me.
All right, so I'll come back to that in a second. I have an opinion on that one. It probably won't surprise you where my opinion is on this one. Talk to me about the sides. You're liking the Browns here?
Yeah, I think we're probably getting a little shade, half point, a point of value. I played the -2.5 around 1.9. I think Steelers are a little bit overrated based on what they've been doing recently. They've won 4 in a row. There's a lot of talk about this sprawling defense, taking the ball away 4 times a game or whatever they've been doing there. So the second in the NFL in turnovers now.
26 takeaways, Brad.
Yeah, but
that's pretty good through week 11.
It's pretty good, but we also know that's not necessarily sustainable. If you look at who they've beaten these last few weeks, it's been the Dolphins when Steelers had the extra rest off a bye, so we're not too impressed with that. It's been the Rams, who were a terrible matchup. We were bang on this on the podcast last week. They had the worst pass blocking offensive line in the league, going up against one of the best in the Steelers. And then the centre got injured as well, so it was kind of a perfect spot, I think. And then they had the Colts, who they beat by 2 points because Vinatieri can't make a kick. The Colts played that entire game with their backup quarterback, Brian Hoyer, who we know is not good because we saw what he did last week.
Yeah.
And then the other win was against the Chargers, where again they had about 4 turnovers and pick sixes and everything like that.
You can only play what's in front of you, though. I mean,
you can, but we're projecting forward, and I think that a load of turnovers against bad teams, I don't think that suggests I don't think that's predictive going forward. I think that's what's kind of driving this number. That's why they're possibly market saying they're the half-point better team here. But if we look at the offenses, I think we've got Browns are the clearly better offense. So,
which wouldn't be hard, to be fair. They have weapons. They have talent.
Well, they also have a quarterback who is good. Probably, we don't know for sure, but we can say confidently he's better than Mason Rudolph, who's I think 33rd out of 34 quarterbacks ranked by PFF. He doesn't throw the ball downfield. He's not got over 250 yards in any of his starts yet.
Yeah.
And then so we just look at this yards per play, quite a basic stat, but Cleveland 14th in the NFL, 5.7 yards per play, despite the toughest schedule of opposing defenses. So that's better than you might think, given the schedule they faced. The Steelers down in 28th in the NFL. at 5.0 despite an easier schedule. So I'd say we've got the clearly better offense. And then on the short week, you always want to go with the home favourite in general on a Thursday. What's that here? I've lost it. I did have it down, but there's something like 58% against the spread. These home favourites on Thursday night. Given
Cleveland offense though. Look. Let's look back to last Sunday. Okay, so Adam Chernoff, his best bet of the week was the Browns -3. My best bet of the week was the Bills +3. Now I'll be honest. I think I was luckier to get out that one with a push than Adam was. I think Adam should be more disappointed. However, you look at some of the metrics within that game. What the Bills had 8 plays from inside the Buffalo Bills 2-yard line and couldn't convert for a touchdown. Now, yes, they did eventually kind of get it going, but I mean the Steelers defense has to be better than the Bills defense right now.
Yes, which is why we like the under as well. And there's I think there's some amount of projection in this. If you use a player-based model, if you incorporate something like PFF grades, then you would make this, I think, closer to 3.5, because there is a huge amount of talent on this Browns team, and at some point you would think they're going to put it together. Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt back now, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield. That's at least 3 Pro Bowl talents, just weapons, and then the line is better than you think as well. They're 14th in ESPN's pass block win rate. So that's possible. That's probably the weak spot of the offense, along with the coaching. Yeah, I mean, probably the coaching is the biggest concern. There is that narrative out there that the short week is worse for bad coaches. They don't know how to prep as well, and we probably do have a bad coach here. So that would be my biggest concern. But is Mike Tomlin some sort of X's and O's expert who's going to have everything ready in 3 days?
I take your point there, but you've got to admit with Tomlin, this is probably his best coaching job to get this team to 5-4. Given the circumstances, and I'll be honest, you called Mason Rudolph absolutely bang on at the start of the season. I got that one wrong. I probably read too much into his college career at Oklahoma State, where they play this wide open spread offense, and just which does kind of mask a lot of inabilities of certain quarterbacks to get away with a lot, because there's quicker reads, the ball is getting out quicker, and you're just playing Big 12 defenses who just it's just lighting up scoreboards. But look, here's where I'm on this one. Okay, so 41.5 at even money 2.0. It's obviously a very key number with the 21-20 kind of margin that come into play. I was kind of back and forth this morning on it. I was looking at the Browns team total, maybe taking the under there. I just don't like the number when it's 20.5. And yes, I'm getting the 2.15 currently at Matchbook on that. So it's good odds against, but it's just one that's just not appealing to me. If I got the 21.5 Browns under, I'd absolutely love that one. I just don't see where the Steelers, I take your point, the Browns offensively have the talent. I just don't see where the Steelers really score here as well. We've seen that offense the last couple of weeks. They've been getting help from their, defense as well. If it's a clean game, we talked about this on the main podcast as well, that we don't get pick sixes and, special teams touchdowns. I pretty much see, first team to 20 wins this one. And, for the total to get up even that low total, you probably do need both teams scoring, and the Steelers may struggle to get to 14 or 17 here. Fair enough, 41.5 under, you agreement?
Yeah, I didn't realise it's 41.5 and even
plus,
money or odds against, because that I do think that is the value side there. As you said, the winner of this game feels like they get to 20. They are 2 good pass rushes, 2 teams who just aren't explosive at all. And that Steelers game last week, I think of the 29 points scored, only 14 were scored by the offenses. There was, two offensive touchdowns. So, as you say, if there's nothing wacky, we should probably go under that. That's probably a safer bet. You would think as well the Steelers are getting James Conner back here, and they're probably going to want to try and run the ball. That is the weakness of the Browns' defense, arguably, is taking up, getting run up the gut. And they were possibly saving Conner, kept him out last week to play in this one. So, they might lean that way as well. So, I like that look as well.
Yeah, and it's very much a dink and dunk offense, the Steelers offense right now, and just does take a lot of time off the clock. Right, okay, so -2.5 Cleveland Browns for the professor. And I've convinced him, I think, to my way of thinking, on under 41.5. And plus money on that.
Let's go a half unit on each, shall we?
Let's do that. Okay.
Tentative.
I think it's a fair compromise. Let's move on to the player props. You've got two here. I've got one. Let's start with you. You're keeping it Browns heavy here. OBJ 63.5 and Kareem Hunt 25.5. Remember when OBJ was with the Giants? His line every week was like kind of Michael Thomas numbers, 95 to 100.
Yeah, it makes me a bit sad. He's one of my favourite players to watch in the NFL. And even if you watch tape now, if you look at the highlights, he's always open downfield. But he's had these quarterbacks. First Eli, who missed him downfield the whole time, and everyone thought, oh well, this year, now he's got Baker, he's going to just go absolutely nuts. It's not quite happened for him. And then, so last couple of weeks, it's been a bit of a talking point in the media that OBJ's complaining about not getting the targets he needs, and it's right. Like they can't punch it inside the 5. Just throw slants to Beckham because he's the best player on the field. So last week, after this kind of the squeaky wheel gets the grease narrative, he did get 12 targets Sunday and 168 air yards. He didn't quite make the most of them. I think he got about 58 yards, but that kind of usage, I think we can expect that to continue. And that is, if he's even normally efficient, like an average receiver would be, he is going way over this low 60s mark.
63.5, and that's been backed already. That means you're already on, Prof. 1.85. Yeah. Oh, okay. You better get on fairly fast.
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt is the other one here. You're looking at receiving, and that's 25.5. Now, his rushing is probably a similar enough number. It's actually 21.5. So you're thinking, obviously, the Hunt is being used here as the third down back, and he's going to get a bit of some dump off some Baker.
Well, it was very interesting usage, actually. Yeah, a little bit third down back, but also a fair bit of getting Hunt on the pitch with Nick Chubb.
I saw that, yeah. It's interesting, yeah. Two running backs.
They had him in the slot a few times. He was on the field 55% of the snaps. Actually 11 times. But the key thing for us, as I said, he was aligned as a slot receiver. He was aligned in the backfield, and, leaking out. He got 9 targets, which is, that's a huge amount for a back.
Yeah.
And for 25.5, that's a superb number.
Could get that on one screen.
Yeah, well, he's always been a very good receiving back. Obviously,
yeah.
We saw him in
you know what? The Chiefs have struggled this season without him. Like, their red zone efficiency is way down as well. And I think obviously there was a reason he was kicked off that team, rightly so. But definitely in the red zone, he was a serious weapon for them last year because Damian Williams and Shady McCoy just haven't got that the same effect in the red zone.
Yeah, well, we like to say running backs don't matter, but they matter a little bit more when they're good receivers because you can do so much with screens and wheel routes, some of the most efficient routes because you get an elite athlete on a linebacker in space. And Hunt, he probably has had a small negative impact not having him there. But yeah, he seemed up to speed last week. Got 77 yards on 11 touches. He got a hell of a lot of targets, as we said, and I expect more of the same.
Okay, I've got one for you, Prof. For a change, I'm getting involved in the props now again. James Washington, the third receiver for the Steelers, 35.5 is his line at Matchbook currently. You can back it at 1.9. I'm going over on this one. I think this number hasn't really caught up to his recent form. He had 90 yards last week against the Rams, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 1 touchdown. The week before against Indianapolis, pretty good defense as well, 69 yards, 4 receptions. I think that was about 6 targets. He's going to be matched up against the nickelback for the Browns, who name escapes me right now. But if you're looking at that matchup in general, Prof, you look at slot receivers, they might get, obviously the Steelers, Juju is going to get the main Browns cornerback. Who's on the other side? Deontay Thompson, I think.
Deontay
Johnson, yeah, is on the other side. So your third receiver there. He also has his college connection with Mason Rudolph, and they seem to be just kind of working it a bit more in the last couple of weeks. So if he's getting these amount of targets in the last couple of games, like 35 is not a major number to clip here, and that's just my logic. I think they will have to throw the ball at some stage. They will be behind. So yeah, give me James Washington over 35.5.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's not much to get a clip. Right, let's look. We've done these touchdown scorers a couple of weeks now. This is only the third week of doing them. We did it the first day, and what did you have? You had Royce Freeman against the Chiefs or the Broncos. Yeah. So obviously, if you sign up for Matchbook today, you get your first bet loses, you get a £10 refund even on your first bet. So this is kind of the logic we're taking on this one. It's a kind of a bet to nothing. We won't be taking Nick Chubb at 5.6 as the favorite, of course, because that's just too easy. I'm just going to give you mine. I'm going to stay on a similar theme here. James Washington, 25.0 currently a Matchbook. I'm going to have my tenor on that one. What are you going to have, Fairprop?
I'm going to stick with Odell. He got a couple more targets in the end zone last week, drew a couple of pass interference
Double digits again. Oh, it's a crazy world, isn't
it? Yeah. He's in the top 5 in end zone targets for the season, and he's got 1 touchdown. So there's regression coming for Odell, and I'm hoping tonight.
All right. Okay, Odell Beckham Jr. currently 10.2 at Matchbook. Wow. Okay. Generally, when he was with the Giants, before Saquon was there, he was the 5 or 6 to 1 shot. Yeah. How times have changed. Right. Let's move on to best bets for Thursday night football. Brad Allen, you can give me one from each side. You give me a prop, and you can give me a main one.
Yeah, so we'll go Browns -2.5 for the main game, and then we will take Kareem Hunt over 25.5 for the prop.
Love it. I'm going to do something similar. Under 41.5 at even money currently at Matchbook, and James Washington over 35.5 receiving yards. All 4 of them should come up, Brad. Surely. We'll wake up happy men on Friday morning.
Yeah, free money, good start to the Friday.
Fingers crossed. Brad, thanks for joining me again. Don't forget, if you haven't checked it out already, we are now live. Our Week 11 NFL podcast is live on the YouTube, Twitter, Facebook channels, and you can also, of course, download on your preferred podcast app. Brad kind of gets into it with the whale capper over the Philly and New England game. You'll have to watch it to see which side Brad is on. But needless to say, Brad wasn't happy that we all went against him.
Yes, we'll see, Sully. We'll see.
There you go. Brad, next Thursday, we'll see you then, man. And we've only got one more Thursday until Thanksgiving.
Ooh, I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Happy
season
days.
is absolutely flying through. Right, guys, that's it. We're done. Best of luck with your Thursday night bets, and we'll chat to you again next week.